NCRP Productions presents Torg Eternity by Ulisses Spiele. The Breifne Crown. Episode 11. Moving forward, we would like to give you a content warning. Tharcold and other realities are places where very bad things happen to good people. Acts and situations in this podcast may trigger those who suffer from trauma caused by sexual assault, torture, slavery, and violence. Please, listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name's Greg and I want to welcome you to a Sunday of Possibility. I am your GM for our Sunday Torg game. I'd like the players to introduce themselves, starting to my left.
Hello, I'm Tori. I'm playing Evangeline Francis, the monster hunter from Aurora.
And I'm Shan. I'm playing Azrael, the cyber witch from the cyber papacy.
Hey, it's Barry. I am playing Max Elite, the freedom fighter from Tharcold.
It's Victoria. I am playing Iara Bay, the elven necromancer from Isle.
Hello everybody, this is David. I'm playing 921 XL2 Vermilion, also known as V, the independent mercenary from Cyber Papacy.
And for those that are wondering what happened to Father Elias, he met his very untimely end at the welcome wagon of Jezreel's court in Tharcold and the demon Agaris.
Killed by the very foes that he was born to defeat.
So, out of character, our group hasn't played for, almost
2 months.
Almost 2 months. So what we're going to do now is to be able to just discuss and bring up to date where we're at, to be able to pick back up. So somebody, let's go ahead and just do a recap, and then after that, we'll kind of round table and get back to where we're at with everyone remembers.
I can do that if you want. We began last episode with the demon Agaris drinking the blood of Oksana, where he had punctured her neck, and drops her, and we learn that Agaris is one of Kranid's alphas, and we tell him we need to see Jezreel. And he brings us to Kuzminski Park, about a 2-hour walk away, and we go to an old estate. We meet Jezreel there and tell her what we know of Yavich and the Crown, and that we're going to need her help in defeating the demon. We explain to her why it's beneficial for her. We lied a little bit and let her know that the item we're talking about would help Thrachin destroy her. And so she agreed to help us, at which point Father Elias said he would not work with demons and was killed.
And to interject, you guys know that the demon Yavich is in the process of trying to find the Breifne Crown, and he found out that Yavich is one of Thrachin's alpha demons.
Right, and Yavich is trying to find the crown, which we have. We also assume that he's still trying to find the other Eternity shards that fit into the crown.
That's correct, and he did not find the shard at Yavich's base. So the group also made the assumption that Yavich has the Tharcold shard.
Right. Ooh, and that reminds me to ask you, which ones do we currently have? We have
the Eilish.
That's the only one we've got.
But you also have the crown that it goes into.
Which is important.
Kind of helps. Yeah.
So we assume Yavich has the Tharcold crown. So presently in the G.I. Joe realm of things, because it feels like that, it's 1-to-1, plus we've got the housing unit.
Correct.
I like it. So we cut the deal. Did we bring his body? I don't remember if we took Elias's body. I feel like we should have, but didn't.
No, Jezreel was going to keep that for whatever she does.
Okay. So we make our way back. We talk with Yuri. We pick up Iara. Yes, it's been that long. We pick up Iara and we head to the exfil point where we meet Team Joliet. And we drive the 10 hours to St. Petersburg. We board a frigate and we're met by Mr. Jones. We sleep till the next day and then we have a 9 a.m. brief.
And what surviving members of Juliet Company were there? Do we remember recall?
I never write those down.
Okay.
We lost 2 of them.
If I recall, it was Midge the Fridge and Svetlana
That we lost?
that were killed in combat.
That sounds right, because those would be the named ones.
Yeah, I don't recall this, so I believe you.
We lost 2 of them.
And then do you want me to go over kind of the basics of what we did in Jones's
Yeah, because
discussion?
especially for Victoria, since she wasn't there to kind of catch Iara up as well.
So, with Jones, we discussed the fact that we had found the map. We had found Yavich's map. On Yavich's map, there were a collection of ears stuck to different points across the globe. The ears were stuck in Ireland, near Loch Gill, which was where we found, or approximately where we found, the Breifne Crown itself and the shard.
Correct.
We then also were in Tharcold, which there wasn't an ear there because, I'm assuming because that's where we were.
Correct.
So we noticed that there is an ear stuck to Paris, France.
Correct.
The University of Benghazi in Libya, which is the Nile. Gundu Village, Nepal, which is Aurorsh.
This is Aurorsh.
Mount Rishiri on Rishiri Island, which is in Japan, or Pan-Pacifica.
Japan, because nobody knows that there is they
Right.
believe, the Delphi Council believes there's an invading realm in Asia, but can't prove it.
Right, so we still as a group don't know that Pan-Pacifica is Pan-Pacifica. It's just something's going on in Japan,
Right.
and there's an ear stuck there.
And the Kanawha Corporation is kind of taken over in a governmental function as well, because they were able to positively intervene during the Shaanxi outbreak.
Okay, and the final ear was placed on Ellis Island in New York, which we know is the Living Lands.
Yep.
And for some reason, I have written down that one of the ears was a baby ear. Was that just a grossness thing?
That was a demon grossness thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And so we had two options. We were thinking Paris, France. We were thinking Ellis Island. Ellis Island is maybe 25,000 square feet, and Paris is 8.9 million people in a huge area, so we went with Ellis Island.
Right. And Jones also said that the intel that you guys gathered, he's turning over to the Delphi Council analysts to see what they can come up with too. So you have basically an intelligence network trying to analyze what you guys found behind you.
Okay, and that's what I have. We were stopped there, as far as I know.
That's pretty much what I remember too. Did anyone else have any notes and something else that they remembered?
Because we all take such good notes.
I think you and Tori are the only ones that take like super detailed notes.
Yeah,
She
like I
takes some.
have notes, but you guys put stuff that I missed.
Just that Jezreel wanted us to bring Yavich to her.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
this
And
is-
then
this is-
Agaris had given us a little bit of an insight saying that Yavich is sneaky and tries to avoid fights.
So the deal that Jezreel wanted. So do you guys remember what that was?
No.
She said that she would destroy Yavich if we can deliver him.
Correct.
My notes are this, when we encountered her, she was watching the movie Hustle. Super important detail.
Oh, I thought she was watching Hostel.
Hostile.
Oh, this says Hostel.
Yeah, hostile.
Yeah, hostile.
My
Because the Hostel would have been a
Like
very
American
different... I mean, it still fits, but
Hostile.
it would have been a very
like it
different
should-
That's
story.
an O, not a U.
Should be hustle.
Yeah, it was hostile. Jezreel likes watching torture scenes, so I mean,
What a surprise.
but yeah, that was one thing she wanted you guys to deliver Yavich to her, so that way she could destroy him for you.
Yeah, which we learned with the demise of Father Elias, we're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
You guys fought the
Yeah.
demon in the lion's den and found out that holy smokes, techno demons are tough as hell.
Yes.
And
Good
so
to know.
that was
That's
yeah.
where I disconnected.
Ah,
And that demon wasn't even an alpha demon.
we're still
was
little
it?
babies
Oh,
yet,
jeez.
though.
A baby demon.
Was his name
Baby
Torgon?
demon.
Yes, the demon Torgon. Right, then any other notes that we have?
No,
Okay.
it was a 9 a.m. brief if that matters, so it's probably about 10:30 or 11 now.
So after the briefing, you guys are kind of left to your own device right now. Jones does tell you that they will be doing a memorial service for the fallen Delphi Council members that did not come back from this mission.
That would be the units out of Joliet.
And
And
Elias.
Elias.
Okay.
So, you guys do anything in particular at this time?
If nothing else is going on, I will go down to the gym or whatever is there, because I'm still having troubles with the fact that I am the least capable person as far as creating harm with anything we run into, and it is really bothering me.
And then, as you're down there too, you also remember that from the two creepy kids, you removed that dagger.
Oh yeah, I have the dagger.
Okay. Are you doing anything with that?
Keeping it safe. I don't think that anyone within the Delphi Council understands what it could be, and I do.
So what is your interpretation of what that dagger is?
I think it's infused with the mind, soul, or greed of a demon.
But
That's my guess.
But that's what occult tech is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're exactly right with that. I mean, so all occult tech has, for lack of a better word, is somewhat possessed by a demonic presence.
I just don't know what possesses this dagger, and I'm not necessarily certain I want to find out unless I have to.
Okay. So yeah, no problem. You're going down to the gym, and out of character, is there anything that you're working from your experience
No,
like in the gym?
not at present.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to hit me with it, I'm not going to get any better. Not this time.
Yeah, that's what I was just checking on.
Yep.
Iara, is she doing anything?
What time is the words?
Second brief?
No, for the
services?
fallen. Yeah, the services for the
Oh,
fallen.
services.
Thank you. Sorry.
It hasn't been planned yet.
Oh, okay. Just that they're working on it.
Yes, but that is coming up, and Jones wanted to make sure that you guys were aware.
Okay. I probably, since I wasn't around, I guess I've probably already gotten kind of briefs from everybody about what went down, so I don't really need to.
Well, we would have told you on the flight back
Yeah,
in, and
so-
then the drive back in, and then the ship ride back in. And
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
had
'cause-
plenty of time to get all the information.
Yeah, because right now you guys are back in Berlin.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, so we haven't done the ship yet. We just done a drive and something else. And driving a flight. Right? Yeah, we drove, and then we were in St. Petersburg, and...
And I thought from St. Petersburg you...
Oh, no, we boarded a frigate. No,
Yeah.
we didn't do the flight. We did the drive, and we did the boat.
The boat.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah. Azrael?
Hanging out.
And Tori.
I think I'm gonna go back and organize all of my equipment and make sure all my potions are together, waiting to get to our next spot.
Is Evangeline OCD? Like all the labels are turned
Yeah.
forward and stuff? Okay, cool. 'Cause that's kind of what I envision. Okay.
Each little spot on the little bandolier.
Right. Has it. And
Like
then
that,
Specific
so
spot.
it's
That one
a
can
tiny bit
only
of
go in that one spot.
you got the little cut lines, so you match up the line on the lid with the line on the...
So while you guys are, just kind of like, down in the gym, prepping, just chilling, whatnot, Jones approaches each and every one of you and
Separately?
separately,
Okay.
and he does offer, if anyone is interested, like grief counseling,
Oh, God,
trauma counseling.
I knew you were going to say that.
He's the chaplain.
He's not a chaplain, but he does offer those
Some
services.
services.
Listen, the priest went down. I don't think a chaplain's going to help.
They have an EAP.
Yeah,
Basically,
considering the last one's tongue was cut out, I'll pass.
but in reality, it was kind of a traumatic thing that you guys went through, So, I mean, post-traumatic stress is a real thing. Jones is aware of it, so he does offer those services. Is
very new
anybody
age.
interested in taking him up on that?
Negative.
Nope.
No?
We spend like the next 4 game sessions in grief counseling. That'd be awesome.
No.
Awesome. That'd be
Iara?
great.
I wasn't there for his death. I just found out about it afterwards, and while I am sad he's passed,
So no vicarious trauma
yeah,
for
no
Iara?
vicarious trauma for me.
Okay. You guys all suck, because if anyone said yes, was going to get a possibility.
I think I still had 3
Oh,
possibilities
do, we,
left over
do I
from the
start
last.
with, do we all have 3?
I had 3. I wrote down 3.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and pass out the possibilities now.
Back to your idea with the grief counseling thing. So for Max, I think it would bother him more the kids harming the defenseless cat than Elias being obstinate in his beliefs, standing up for his beliefs, and dying for his beliefs.
He didn't offer grief counseling for Elias. He just offered any type
In
of
general.
grief counseling in general.
Right. I'm saying that I don't envision, the touchy-feely thing is probably not going to work for Max.
Which makes sense, especially coming from Tharcold. What you experienced is what you grew up in.
Yep, that was normal.
Yeah, that was normal.
The grief counseling thing to me feels too much like a Catholic confession, so I'm really
Too religious.
Right,
Yeah.
that's
No, thank
good.
you.
I like that.
Okay. So I love that. Makes sense and it fits the characters. So
Yeah, for me, Isle's much more old school, and there's not a whole lot of that there. But also, as well, I wasn't there for a lot of it, so I don't think I would need it as Iara.
If you interrupt me organizing my potions and gear again, I'm going to throw something at you.
that's your therapy, your meditation.
while you guys are just kind of out and about during the day, word gets round that Tony Lee, one of the members of Juliet Company, he died while in transport to Medbay, so they didn't get to him in time, checked in time.
That means Joliet team is 2.
So Juliet team is down to 2, Roger and Svetlana. And you haven't seen either of them since you guys got on board or got back to Berlin.
Maybe they took up the grief counseling.
I can just see, like, IR's just like, what the hell's grief counseling?
That's kind of where I'm at, too. It's like, what?
They teach you how to grieve.
What's counseling?
What is counseling? What does that even mean? I'll just raise this zombie and talk to them.
Do
So what do you think about being dead?
Did my skeletons come along the ride? I'm going to say probably not.
Yeah, no, they...
I'm going to say they
Bunch
probably...
of skeletons in the
I'm
mess
still
hall.
hanging on to that
Yeah.
Tharcold armor, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that
we did
Tharcold
from the
armor.
people that the first, fight that we had. Is that the armor you guys are talking about?
Yeah, from the Marauders. So, no one's going to do anything. About 2 days go by, and then that's when the memorial service for the fallen companions conducts itself. So, the deputy director of this area for the Delphi Council, Michael Gruber, he was the one that briefed you on the beginning of the mission when you entered into Tharcold. He gives the benediction. His personality is that of just very stoic and even a little bit robotic. So his words, even though are articulate, don't necessarily seem very heartfelt, but that's just also his personality. When you guys look over, you actually can see Roger Bors. He still has his beard, but his head's bandaged, so he doesn't have his Orioles hat on. And he's sitting in a wheelchair. And when you look down, you can see that his left leg has been amputated from the battle. And then standing behind him is Hella Horn. She, if you remember, was the German model turned Storm Knight. She had that ragged scar down across her face. Kind of just wore a perpetual frown, and every time that you guys look over, you see her standing behind Roger, just having a deep frown on you guys. But Roger, he just, each time nods and even has a small smile that, as each one of you make contact, eye contact with him.
I give a nod to them when I see them.
It's quick, but yet it's also one of those things too where Michael says that each of the fallen will be recognized and memorialized within the Delphi Council records. They make assurances that family members from different cosms will be notified of the sacrifice and the heroic deeds done. And almost as quickly as it started, it kind of starts breaking up, and you guys can see, people start breaking off and small little pockets of conversation happening, whatnot. You guys do anything for them?
As soon as it's done, I'm going to look around, noticing no one's coming at me. I'm going to go back to the gym.
Okay.
Where are we specifically?
So it's basically within the Delphi Council compound within Berlin. It's like a big conference room.
I ask because I just want to make sure we weren't still on a boat or somewhere where I couldn't pick flowers and just put them on a grave or something.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
You guys actually, from St. Petersburg, the frigate was waiting for you and then transported you back along the core Earth coastline to be able to get back to Germany.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to do is a simple gesture. I'm going to, even if they're dandelions or whatever is around weed flowers, I'm going to put some flowers.
Yeah, so there's a pedestal for each, and a picture of each fallen. Nobody was able to bring a body back. And so, those that are, see Azrael picking flowers, and there's plenty around. One of the things that the Delphi Council does do is they want to try to make sure the environment, especially at home and safe, is it's not just always grim. So there is something light and something positive, and life can grow. Just trying to keep that inspiration. So yeah, it's not difficult to find flowers.
I'm glad I'm not there. I don't know that the tender side of Azrael would be a good thing for me to see.
Which makes sense because humanity is kind of a lost thing in Tharcold. Humanity and compassion. Remember, that's a realm where you're rewarded when you inflict pain on someone else. So compassion is often seen as a weakness. So that makes sense. I like that. For those that are there, possibility, because to me that makes a lot of sense. Evangeline, Iara, you guys do anything?
I might try to approach Bors and just give a sorry for your loss kind of talking with him, if he's receptive to that. The other one doesn't seem receptive to that, so I don't want to.
But she also had a perpetual frown on her
already,
face too,
okay.
so
Potentially from the scar?
I I think she's just bitter about
angry.
the invasion in general.
Gotcha.
So,
She's angry at the world right now.
just
So
angry at the world.
I'll approach the two of them and maybe see if they're open to talking about what happened after we left.
So as you come walking up, Boris, he just looks over at you. He's like, hey, elf.
Hello.
Cool, you elf.
I am an elf.
She kind of is.
Really.
It seems we've both had losses on each team.
I mean, I've been mission operation for many years. It's never gets easier, but you always expect it. And I mean, I'm sure you know that similarity.
It's a part of what we do.
Part of what we do.
What?
Hell is glaring at you.
What ended up happening?
So after we drew their fire, we led them into what we were setting up for high ground, but it turned out that they had another batch of marauders there setting up their own ambush, so we got caught in a crossfire.
Oof.
And that's how we lost most of ours. Hella, me and Tony, we were able to fight our way out. Tony got hurt pretty bad, but he soldiered up and got his way through, and then he didn't make it on the ride home.
Well, I'm sorry for that. We appreciate your help for letting us get to work on our mission.
Shit happens. We were there in a support role, and just didn't go our way. Did you succeed? Did they die in vain?
They did not die in vain. We got more intel than we needed, so it was a successful mission for us.
There's that at least.
Agreed. Well, again, sorry for your loss. Thanks for the help, and move on to the next.
Shit happens. We plan on getting a little shit toward drunk tonight. You guys are more than welcome to join us.
I will spread the word. I'm sure that some will be willing to join. I will join.
It's always better to get drunk celebrating remembering life than it is get mourning in death.
Absolutely.
I'll see you tonight then.
All right. So I'll go pass that along to the others that I see and track them down and say, hey, they're looking to...
Who you track down first?
If Azrael's still in the area, I'm assuming putting the flowers, I'll talk with her first and let her know that.
Good.
So, Azrael, I was just spoke to Boris. They're gonna have a drinking remembrance, basically, of celebrating of life somewhat later tonight. If you wanted to join,
I'll be there.
all right. I'm gonna go see if Ava and Max are wanting to go as well.
Evangeline went back to her quarters, but like her OCD from you've been with her enough where she's either making more potions or labeling them or just
Right.
her personality type.
I'll go knock on her door.
Finally, somebody knows how to knock.
Hey, I was just talking to Boris, and they're gonna do some drinking tonight in celebration of those fallen. If you want to join.
Sounds good. I'll drink to that.
All right. And then head down to the gym and same to Max.
Iara, did you come down to
Yes.
spar?
Oh, no.
Yes. Oh, no.
No, thank you. I was just letting you know we're going to go out tonight with the Juliet team and drink for the fallen, if you would like to join.
That is a wonderful thought. Yes, I will join. Should we get some of the Father Elias used to drink that sacrificial wine?
I would imagine some people may be willing. Azrael probably wouldn't be interested in that, but...
Right.
yes.
Sacramental.
Sacrificial.
I wouldn't know that.
Sacrificial.
That's where I went.
That's why I'm smiling.
But yes, I think that would be a good idea. Definitely.
Okay. And what time?
He didn't really give a time, just said sometime tonight, so I imagine we'll meet up with
Are you
him.
going?
Yes.
Make certain I'm aware.
Will do. Azrael and Evangeline are also going as well.
That's good.
Yes.
Very good.
So then we'll just wait until they're ready.
So, I mean, yeah, the day kind of passes. Dinner comes in the mess hall, and then after that, Hella is wheeling Boris up, and you can see in his lap, he's already got just this big-ass bottle of Jameson. So he kind of comes up, just one eyebrow shoots up as he looks at you.
I give a nod, and I'll head and if... Are we in the mess hall when that's happening?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
then. All right. You guys ready?
It's now?
Just now.
Oh,
And
yes.
so as you guys are talking, you hear Boris like, "Come on, sweet tits, let's go." As
I'm gonna
Hella's wheeling him.
Scoop all the remaining food on my plate in my mouth and follow him out.
after he says that, Hella kind of smacks him up in the ear. He's like, not that side! And, they wheel off. Ultimately, kind of get down to one of the bunk rooms, and you hear Guns N' Roses just blasting in the background. Yeah, so when you guys get down there, there's already a few people there. You can tell some people have already started drinking right away. There's different photographs of Svetlana and Tony and Midge just at different parts, just like pasted up against the wall. Some have dartboards on them. Some just, where people threw whiskey up. And then basically it's going to be a gnarly party.
Slosh fest.
Slosh fest.
Smashed.
That works.
Who is participating?
I will.
Yeah.
As long as it's not wine, because that's too communion-y for me.
There's whiskey, there's vodka, there's rum, there's some shit that they found in Midge's bunk that who the fuck knows what it is, but it gets you really drunk.
Beer on tap?
No, it's probably like used to degrease engines,
Moonshine.
but Midge happened to drink it, so they're drinking that in his honor.
Well, I mean, not what Midge had, but is there beer
Is there
on tap?
beer?
Well, there's like more like a cooler of some
Like
Pabst
bottled?
Blue Ribbon. and
No, I don't want that.
It's Roger Boers. This guy's a
Polygonal.
redneck.
I'm gonna like rum and coke or something.
And so, yeah.
All I've
definitely-
ever had is bathtub gin. So I will try everything.
That's what I was gonna say. I probably haven't had a whole lot of different stuff either, so I'm gonna try a bunch of different.
like mead and wine over
Yeah.
an aisle.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try for some other whiskeys and such.
I'll have a few drinks, but my paranoid self isn't gonna go too crazy.
So, who is getting sloshed drunk?
Iara is.
I am.
Awesome.
Drunk elf dancing on the bar.
Boris at one point comes over to you, so just like, he's drunk as shit. He tells you to rub his stump for good luck, and he offers it up, and then, also says in his drunken slurs, like, anything worth doing's worth overdoing, darlings. As he takes some swig, and just, now the point he's no longer mixing his whiskey, he's just taking straight shots from JMO. And,
Nice.
yeah. You two head out kind of early, and you two stay with Hella. And at this point, one of the things that you learn with Hella is when the invasion started, she kind of gets into some of her background, and it's not pretty. It's not good, which explains why some of her resting bitch face kind of comes out as heavy as it does. But as she starts drinking, you can see it actually lighten up, and you can see that beauty of her being that formal model, despite the jagged scar on her face, is really kind of coming out and just really kind of shining, and you see kind of a little in depth of that.
Nice.
She's a 7 for me. She had a couple more scars. We might be working towards a 10. No wings, not scarred enough.
She's not missing enough eyes.
Right.
Give that bitch an eye patch and I'm in. So, all right, yeah. I mean, basically, these guys go until ultimately they can't drink physically anymore and pass out.
I figure there's going to come a point when Jones is going to stop us, so I don't stop till then, or I pass out, whichever one comes first.
And Jones does not interrupt, so
All right.
yeah.
So tell me where I wake up.
Basically, you and Boers and somebody else, some guy that just kind of happened to come down, basically all wake up, just snuggle together underneath the table.
We got Boris out of the wheelchair.
Yeah, he's out of the wheelchair. His wheelchair is like outside and thrown out through a window, so how the hell that happened? And so, I mean, you remember at one point, you being Boris' crutch as he's hanging on to you and he's like hobbling around.
Nice.
So, yeah, no, he's former SEAL Team 2 member, and they're drinking to remember comrades, so they went hard and deep
They're
into
going
the
for it.
morning.
Yep.
After that, basically, you guys are nursing the gnarliest hangover. I mean, you swear you've been poisoned by something from the dark.
What was that poison?
You get a knock on the door as you're moaning in bed. Ella comes in. She's looking a little green, but she's actually coming in with another bottle, asking if you want a little hair of the dog.
I don't know.
She says, "Coward.
My head is pounding.
This will cure it." She takes a swig.
All right.
So she's willing to keep going. Are you?
I'll take a swig, and I am not happy about it, so I'm gonna no.
She laughs and goes to find you.
Does she offer me hair of the dog?
So you're still passed out. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
she's kind of like, with her foot, just kind of, just nudging you with her toe.
What?
And so she's like waving the bottle up above your head.
Yeah, if I can grab it, I'll drink it.
There's two.
Well, that's what I said. If I can grab it.
Yeah, you're right. No, yeah. I mean, you don't feel great, but the bottle's there. Eventually, Boris gets up, and they're willing to keep going if you are.
Jones hasn't shown up.
Not yet. So you tap out this one. You guys tapped out early. So later on that day, you come down and looking for Max and see him and Svetlana or not Svetlana, Hella, Boris, and just a couple other random people, but they're still going. Is anybody intervening?
Yeah, I'm just gonna chuckle him.
Have I drunk enough? I need to
I'm
make a
not
reality
them.
check yet?
Can I go to the kitchen and bring them some burgers or something carby?
Oh yeah.
Impossible.
Make them eat. All right.
I'm gonna go on my own way.
Next thing you know, you see two Azraels, and she's telling you need to eat.
Give me a greasy burger.
Yes.
Oh.
Probably saves you and keeps you going a little bit longer.
Put something in there.
So that night, you guys pass out again. But next morning, I think those two have kind of calmed down and satiated their grief.
They did their own grief counseling.
They did their own grief counseling.
This is the way we do it in Darkhold.
But we have a safe place to unleash. Usually, you don't have a safe place
for
like
the
that.
hours that we have. Yeah, of course. At
Which
some
also-
point, when I'm starting to sober up, I'm going to realize that this is distilled,
Yes.
and Evangeline could make this
So do you approach her?
when I can find the door. When I can actually walk there, yes.
Okay. So a couple hours go by, and Azrael brings you more food again, doing her diligence as team leader, and so you feel passably human.
Okay, I'll head to Evangeline's door. I'm not sure if I was able to identify what everything was that I drank, but I'm sure something stuck out as better than something else.
Max drank everything.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So I mean, at the point where the 40-year-old age whiskey versus a rot gut doesn't matter anymore.
Right, okay. So yeah, I'll go find Evangeline's door and knock. It wasn't like that. That's more like it. Half of the hitting is to hold myself up.
Yeah.
Fling the door open. What?
So you didn't stay that long, but
Nope.
The stuff we were taking, that's you can make it, right?
Possibly.
You should make it.
What's in it for me?
Well, you would have made it. You could have some. You could feel
Well, you saw
this
how
way.
you saw how early I left,
Right.
and
Well,
you all look like death right now.
what,
You kind of feel like
do.
death.
You're like, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Isn't it great?
it's at least a feeling.
And why would I want to feel like death?
Okay. What would you want to make it?
I guess this would be considered a favor that you'd owe me in the future.
I'm in. Yep. Okay. Perfect. And I walk away.
Kind of leaving you standing there like.
I mean, I didn't say yes or no.
Trust me, Max heard yes.
So throughout this day, one by one, each of you get notified that Jones wants to brief in the morning.
Okay.
So is anybody doing anything before briefing?
No.
Grab
Yes.
some food.
I've got to figure out how to sober up. So I'll try showering, I'll try working out. Eventually, I'm sure I'll try vomiting, try working out again.
I've heard of this thing called coffee.
I'm willing to try that too.
It is magical.
It's magic. Okay. I'm definitely willing to try it. There's been some cool magic stuff that's happened. So yeah, I'm into magic.
I mean, Evangeline makes these amazing potions.
Right, but you don't drink those.
Well, you can. There's
not
one I gave you guys
advisable.
last
Max over
time.
here thinking coffee's a magic potion.
Right. So that's what I'm getting at.
The potion called coffee.
I think we can trick him.
Evangeline, could you make some coffee for Max?
Okay.
It's a
Two favors?
It's a potion.
Yeah. Should we keep along the idea of it's a potion with magical healing powers?
Yes.
Your ears
Okay.
perk up.
I hear somebody making coffee again.
Cream and sugars?
Probably just straight black.
Like really dark. Like
Yeah, a
sludgy.
dark
Very,
black.
very bitter.
Yeah.
Sludge.
Yeah. Yes, I think that would probably be best for him.
I know
Sounds
growing
good.
up that anything that tasted bad was good for you.
Perfect. Yes, definitely.
That's
Alrighty.
what we were always told in the
I'll
orphanage.
add a tally mark to favors he owes me. We're up to 2 now.
You know, it's great. Without doing anything, all the women are serving me. And I think I'm too drunk to
I'm not
realize.
participating in
Do
that.
I hear this comment? Because we can.
And I'm too drunk to realize it.
Do we need a recap of how I went with the last demon making those kinds of comments?
Right. I think they see it as being good teammates.
Yeah.
You
Oh, I'm
said
sure
you're-
Max would
yes.
basically feel that. Because I'm still not myself yet.
I mean, I feel like it's not that much more effort because we're all probably drinking coffee and somebody just poured him a cup.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But see,
Yeah.
the difference is I was told it's magic. I was also told that Evangeline was going to make it.
I'm gonna bring
So,
it
there's
specifically
more.
over to him.
Right, yeah,
Yes.
it's not just, hey, can you pour me a cup?
We're messing with them at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like here's that magic I talked.
It's
This
your
is
potion.
just your cup.
Yeah. That's your potion.
Bitter.
Then there's these magical things, sugar and milk and cream that you can put in
But
it.
look at Iara. Add those?
Do you like sweet?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you should add that.
Okay, so I grab a handful of the cubes, pour the milk in.
Oh,
That's almost worse than bitter.
And you drink your syrup. Or sip it, I should say, because it's hotter than shit.
Right.
There's like an inch of undissolved sugar on the bottom.
Yeah.
Gets to the bottom, it's just
You see like the grains are just kind of run
Right,
down
they just
the
slowly
bottom,
run.
Yeah. It's the bottom is just sugar and coffee grains just kind of mixed together.
delicious. How are you feeling now?
Better. Thirsty, oddly enough, but better.
see,
Potion.
magic. Ooh.
They're all fucking with me.
Potions are great.
The rest of the day and the evening goes by uneventful. You end up going to bed early, and you guys get up briefings at 08. And when you guys all file in, it's a smaller briefing room, not like the big, huge one. And it's just Jones in here, and he's already waiting for you. So there's some more magic coffee and some pastries.
Well, they didn't make it. I'm not eating it, but I will. It's going to be odd that I'm going to smell that it's there.
And it smells the same.
And it smells similar. I might grab some of the sugar in the milk, but if they didn't make the coffee, I don't know that I'm going to be comfortable.
There's
with it. But
more of the
I will-
magic potion.
What's that?
There's more of the magic potions
Oh, you
here.
made it.
I may
I
have
think
shared
it
a
was
recipe.
probably- yeah,
All
somebody.
right. Well, then, yeah, I'm definitely going to pour it.
Yeah.
So Jones is just kind of looking and seeing these two snickering as you're pouring, and just kind of shakes his head a little
Maybe
bit.
less sugar this time. Less sugar this time.
Okay.
Less of those cubes.
Good. Ow! Try and put my hand in and pull a couple of the cubes out.
Jones.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
So he looks around. As a post-op briefing, the Delphi Council analysts have been focusing on your next mission, and that's Ellis Island in New York. The Statue of Liberty is what sits on Ellis Island, and that was a core Earth hardpoint, with Lady Liberty serving as a beacon of hope and inspiration to America. This morning, we just received word that the statue fell. The Living Lands have claimed Ellis Island. We are still trying to determine what happened and how we lost this incredibly high-value hardpoint. This has moved the timeline for your mission up, I'm afraid. You're going to leave immediately for Toronto, where Deputy Director of the Delphi Council's North American Operations, Diana Crow, will brief you. You would be wise to heed the words of her, since she has actually fought Baruch Ka personally. We are trying to secure your replacement team member to meet you in Toronto. Good luck, Storm Knights. Are there any questions? You can see that there is a definite somberness, even more so in his voice than before, and his eyes are red-rimmed, and you can see fatigue and some of the gauntness in his face.
When you say fell, my understanding was this was a giant statue. It was knocked down?
Parts of it was. So there was a part of the statue where she was lifting a torch of freedom and beacon of hope into the air. Apparently that has been broken, and already the law of life is claiming and vegetation is growing upon the statue.
If there's vegetation growing there, we are going to be having to fight that as well to find this thing.
Your words may not just mean fighting the terrain. In the living lands, there is flora that is actually hostile and flesh-eating, so you may literally be fighting the plants.
Is there anything that you can tell us about this Ellis Island? I mean, are we going to get a debrief when we land as far as the way we're going to attack it, possible structures on it other than the now plant-covered statue?
That is what Diana is going to be doing, is debriefing that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Very well. There's a plane waiting for you for a direct flight from here to Toronto.
How are we gonna get to Ellis Island from Toronto?
That is being processed right now. As I said, with Ellis Island falling and no longer being a core Earth hardpoint, the timeline for the mission has been moved up, and we are being forced to come up with alternative approaches.
Will we know more by the time we get to Toronto?
I hope so.
Well, I'll go run down and get my bag and head out.
Pack your gear, 20 minutes to leave.
Double check all my potions, count them. Maybe I should bring
Twice.
more. Yeah, maybe I should bring more of the fire ones.
Yes.
Not a
Yeah.
bad idea.
There's a lot of vegetation that might come in handy.
The round up ball.
Right. As soon as he lets us go, I'm going to grab my bag and be up at the plane.
Yep. So
Even if I'm there in 19 minutes early, I'll be there.
I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna let me know differently. But if you end up like taking time or digressing someplace else,
No, I'm just going and grabbing my stuff and heading to the spot.
so check your equipment and make sure that all of your equipment is listed.
Do I have a rucksack, backpack? I mean, I don't have anything like that.
Yeah, I
written,
have
but
nothing in my equipment other than
The stuff we purchased kind of thing. Should I write down?
Yeah. So I mean, you guys, like, if you have the any armor or any
Yep,
of the
got
submachine guns
Got
that you've
that.
taken from them.
The standard stuff we don't need to worry about. Things we would carry, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, like, so out of game, you're going into the living lands where tech is extremely low.
Right.
So if there's anything specifically that you're going to be using or whatnot, that needs to be written down, because I mean there's a chance that
Yeah,
it just doesn't work.
right. I just meant like a backpack, a rucksack, those
Oh, yeah,
kind of
yeah.
things are not
So-
going to be the standardized items. Hey, yeah. I don't know that we even have rope, but those kind of things.
I've got rope.
You've got rope written down? Because you're from a fantasy. From a fantasy
like
setting,
the
I love
D&D
it.
character
You got
over
a
here
10-foot
that has the explorer's pack.
Yep.
So ultimately, like basic common stuff like that, I have no problem. It's safe to
It
assume.
still may not work. But
Yeah. I mean, it's safe to assume that you can acquire gear. If you're having anything specific, like, for example, a ferro rod, tinder, make sure that's written down.
Nope, not that I know of.
My-
I have flares and they're written down.
Yeah, I've got everything that I think I need.
The only thing I have in my equipment is my robotic arm that ignores backlash from failing casting.
Right.
So
But that's on
But that's you.
okay.
Right? That,
Yeah.
Right? That's on you.
Okay,
You
yeah,
don't
it's my-
carry the arm.
Did you buy any separate?
It's not like a
equipment at the
second arm
beginning?
or a
Okay.
third arm, right?
Yeah, you can't
I'm gonna put on the backlash arm now.
Like
Yeah.
the Winter Soldier.
Right.
But it's just got like a high tech because of
Yeah.
my realm. So I'm just making
Yeah.
sure that like
All of
Go
my
away.
occult tech's gonna be that way.
like if I took it off, like I'd go in my backpack, like I need my arm and it's just a regular arm and I'm like, oh no.
Right.
How am I gonna test this now as it's bleeding and rotting?
I can help you with that.
It's like Thing from Addams Family.
Is he animate or am I gonna bring it back to life? It's an undead arm. You have a zombie arm.
So when you guys get meet and they get transported out, about 9 o'clock is when your flight takes off, and it's about a 6-hour flight across the ocean to get to Toronto. So that 6 hours after 9, that puts you at what time?
Well, that's going to put us at 3,
It's at
except
3,
that
but-
you're going backwards, 6 or 7 hours? So we're probably arriving at 8 if it's only a 6-hour flight. But Toronto is Toronto Eastern?
Toronto's
It's
Eastern.
in Eastern time, yeah. And it is
8, 3, 5. It's probably 10 there.
Yeah.
We're in the future.
Right. Why should you know we jumped
We went in the past.
Went
Yeah,
to
we
the
went to the
Past.
past.
That's right.
We're gonna
going-
relive 1 hour.
We time traveled.
Yeah.
All right, so
Like that the fantasy guy goes, yep. We time traveled. Yep.
Checks out.
This is how it works. Why is the sun still here?
So once you guys land in Toronto, as soon as you get out, you're immediately ushered to a transport helicopter, and then maybe about 20 yards away is an Apache attack copter that also starts up. And from the airport, you take a short flight with the Apache as an escort to the Rogers Center in downtown Toronto.
I've just moved on from the fact that there's all kinds of flying things that help people move around.
Middle dragon.
The roof of the Rogers Center is open, and as you start descending into it, you can see that the former baseball field is now set up as a staging point for just all kinds of other different helicopters. And what you notice is Toronto is still operational. It's not like the big touristy city, that it once was. It's definitely been more militarized, much more presence, a uniform presence of soldiers, about the city. Civilians are armed as you're, flying through. You can see it, but day-to-day life is kind of still going on. So, people still got to live and still need to get groceries and whatnot.
So Toronto is still core Earth.
Toronto is core Earth.
Have we been somewhere in this game, like out of character, that has been like a functioning normal city yet?
Berlin.
Okay.
Berlin's core Earth.
But wasn't there a lot of destruction there? Am I misremembering that?
I think so.
I'm making things up.
I don't recall putting that in the game. Does anyone else recall?
Sadly, I don't remember that either.
I don't. Somewhere we went, like buildings were rubble.
Glasgow in Poland.
Yeah.
Okay, that
yes.
must be what I'm thinking then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Toronto was probably 3 million people or thereabouts at the time when the bridges fell. Is it still 3 million people? I mean, is it a bustle?
It's
just a militarized bustle, but it's still a bustle?
It's swelled with refugees.
So it might
So
be
it's even
4 or
more.
5 million
Yeah.
people? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've been in a city this lively or this large.
And it's
That was core Earth.
and it's a sprawl. So I mean, you're used to these big sprawled cities, and Toronto is definitely a sprawl. Come flying down as soon as you guys land. A couple people come running up, and they usher you into off the field, down the tunnel into basically like a nearby waiting room, and tell you that Deputy Director Crow will be here shortly.
All right.
So you guys are in the room. Anything that you're doing at the moment?
Twiddling my thumbs until they get here.
Keeping an eye on all the exit points and the windows and just being very paranoid.
Max, Iara?
Business. I mean, at this point, if I was drunk before, I'm not now.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just sitting.
So don't have to wait too long. The door opens up and you see an intense but yet a noble looking woman enter. Wheeling herself in a wheelchair, she deftly maneuvers herself to the head of the briefing table. Diana is approximately about 5'6", weighing about 120 pounds. Her willowy frame belies a strength that is evident despite her being confined to the wheelchair. Her thick and long black hair is streaked with gray, and she wears it in a ponytail that drapes across one shoulder all the way down to her waist. Her cappuccino skin is in stark contrast to the white blouse she wears under a blue pantsuit that is modest and yet classy. She has high cheekbones and large doe-like eyes that seem to take in everything, and when you look into them, you see a wisdom that appears to be just generations deep. This woman immediately commands your respect. She looks around, and hearing that no one's going to say anything, she immediately starts, "Qui, Storm Knights, greetings. I am Diana Crow, and I'm to facilitate your mission here. Your mission parameters are twofold. Primary, enter the remains of the Statue of Liberty to locate and secure the Breifne shard suspected to be inside. Secondary, determine how we lost the Statue of Liberty as a hardpoint for core Earth. Due to the low technological axiom of the living lands, you will be flown from here to Burlington, Vermont. We have established Burlington as a fortified staging point for sojourns and sorties into the living lands. I am told that you will have a replacement team member waiting for you there.
So we're going to get our new member in the field, ma'am?
Due to the circumstances of the Statue of Liberty falling, yes, it's not ideal, but that is what is being arranged.
Can you tell us anything about this person?
I have no idea who this person is. Quite honestly, I'm not even sure if it's a Delphi asset or not.
Okay. Out of game, I know about why hardpoints fall. In game, do I know anything about Stellae? I don't specifically envision that my character would, I didn't write it into my background that I knew it, so...
I was going to say, unless there's
And the question
something...
would go, would any of the four of us know?
From what the backgrounds that you guys have established, you all come from the parent land, the parent cosm.
Mm-hmm.
So Stellae and the idea of Stellae wouldn't necessarily be at the forefront because no one's transformed to the reality to be aware of what the Stellae are.
Okay.
Because the invading reality is your home reality.
Right. Mm-hmm. Ma'am, is there any information you can give us on thoughts of why it fell? Is there anything that you know?
So you're familiar with the concept of a hard point.
Basically, yes.
Whenever reality becomes too dominant or becomes too invasive, then the hard point can collapse and be transformed.
This is just meaning that this, you said it was Baruch Ka is the leader there. This Baruch Ka sent enough troops in and it changed? Is that the working theory? Are we going into a battle zone that's overrun?
Yes.
Jones mentioned that you fought Baruch Ka yourself.
I did.
What can you tell us? What warnings, weaknesses?
My engagement with Baruch Ka came at the initial invasion. I was stationed here in New York City with the United States Marshal's Office, and I was the one to organize an ad hoc defense against them. He is powerful when it comes to the prayers and miracles granted by his goddess Lanala. It is one of those miracles that decimated our forces and caused me to be confined in this.
So it's magic. He wields magic.
It's a type of magic, but it's one that is granted from a god instead of the forces of magic within the realm.
How do you do magic?
Well, I have spells and stuff. I think that was how Father Elias did his magic. Wasn't he a miracle?
So if that's true, then do you know how they work? Wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong person. Evangeline, do you know how they work? No, I'm mixing up cosms. Evangeline, do you know how this works? Is there a way for us to combat? Can you combat these spells somehow?
I left the church.
And they're not spells. They're more on the lines of miracles.
Magic, miracles, isn't this the same thing?
It's very different.
No.
Yeah, it's not the same way that I use magic.
Are there miracles where you come from?
No.
Malro, the cyberpunk?
Not me, witches. Like
the cyber papacy.
Cyber papacy, yes, but not for me.
No, but from where you come from, they have these things, these miracles?
Yes.
So do you have any idea, any concept of how they work?
I don't.
I believe it would be calling upon a higher being.
I don't belong to the church, so it's not something I have access to or any knowledge of.
So if you belong to a church, you can call this higher being?
Yeah.
Not everybody that belongs to the church, but if that's the path that you chose.
Imagine if you asked Thrachin to give you the power to cast a spell.
He wouldn't do that.
Imagine, though, that something along those lines.
Okay, and you're saying that the power would be his to grant. So if we can destroy the creature, the Lanala, then it would be fixed, right? We would end his strength.
I was made to be aware that you've already met one goddess, the Lady of the Lake.
Yeah.
And so how would you destroy her?
I have no idea.
And then Lanala is even more powerful than she is.
Yeah, if we were to try to if it's going to be super difficult to destroy Baruka, it's going to be that much more difficult to do so, to destroy his god that he hails from.
When Father Elias cast his miracle, the few times that he did it, the outcome was absolutely incredible, staggering. We're going to be able to stop this? This is what you think, madam?
No, you're not going to be able to stop Baruch Ka, but that is not your mission. Your primary mission is to infiltrate the Statue of Liberty and retrieve the Breifne Shard. And then your secondary mission is to determine what has caused the hard point to fall, not attack or take on Baruch Ka.
But is he potentially there at the statue?
We have not had any intelligence that he is actually on Ellis Island.
Do we know or have any intel on his whereabouts?
In the New York area is where he and his Red Jaws are based and fortified out of.
And isn't Ellis Island in the New York area?
It is.
So we're going to be close to him.
You will be close. Avoid Times Square.
What is this Times Square?
Times Square is a geographic point within New York, and before the invasion, it was a central of the downtown area where many came to visit. As of right now, it is a battleground of different factions, and allies are undiscernible.
Is there any chance that the Delphi Council has given us somebody that understands the area, or Baruch Ka, or has any familiarity?
Over in Burlington, we have arranged for a guide to be able to be assigned to your team to bring you in.
And to travel with us, or only to bring us in?
To travel with you.
Good.
So you'll be outfitted at Burlington for your journey. Some things to be aware of and to know about the living lands in order to survive. You must realize that your standard survival mechanisms will not apply there. Technology is nearly non-existent, and magic even less so. We have lost many storm knights that have transformed to that reality. You must also be wary of the primary world laws that are present within the living lands. You visited Tharkold, I am told?
I'm from Tharkold, actually.
So then you are aware that over in Tharkold, certain laws of the universe will guide and dictate your actions. Same is true with the living land. The law of savagery. There are to be base and primal motivations within the living land. Basically, there are only two things over there: to fight and to fuck. Second is the law of life. Flora and fauna, both indigenous and foreign, have grown to immense size. The law of life also has a way of decaying your gear should you leave it behind for even a minimal amount of time. Mind your gear while you're there. Your survival will depend on it. And then lastly, similar to the laws from where you are from and how it is integrated with core Earth's reality, the living land and the law of wonders over there has introduced foreign worlds that have never existed before on Earth. We believe, and the working theory is, those lost worlds are remnants of past realities that Baruch Ka has consumed, but yet the living lands itself does not want to dismiss. Now, the indigenous population of the living lands are the Adinos. Are any of you familiar with them?
I don't think I would be.
I don't think so either.
No.
Adinos are lizard-like hominids. They are tall, they are strong, they are very formidable warriors. It is imperative for you to know that Baruch Ka is the chieftain of the Adinos. His primary clan is the Red Jaws. All Red Jaws are loyal to him.
Is he a lizard? Humanoid?
He is.
And anyone from your core Earth who succumbs changes into one of these Adianos then?
No, but they will transform to primitive humans.
Huh.
Now, back to the Red Jaws. Be wary. They will kill you without remorse or without reason. Just on sight.
Is there any way to identify them as something different? Are they red?
They're called Red Jaws for a reason. So, as in other lizards within nature, they have a coloring pattern from their necks, their throats, down to their chest that vary in different reds. They have also taken as native tattooing as a sign of status within their clan. The more tattoos on the jaw, the higher status that particular Adinos has.
Do they at all react like normal? like my realm, if we were to take out the leader, would they fall in line?
No. So you're talking of a different world law. So with
It
them,
seems to be a law here as well, I've noticed. In fact, everywhere we've gone.
each reality has its own world laws. And so that's why we're briefing on the world laws of the living lands, so you have an idea of what it is. So there is not that domination as present in Tharkold. Here within the living lands, life is sacred, and passions are at the forefront. If you took out a leader, chances are it would inspire rage and raw aggression, even more so, to avenge the death of the leader, as opposed to try to cajole the rest to follow you. Now, there are many tribes that are not in alignment with the Sa'ar Baruch, and we have been working diligently and establish alliances with some of those tribes within the various clans. Please, do not indiscriminately start killing Adinos and destroy the efforts we have made here. If we are to defeat Baruch, we will need the Adinos allies to help us depose the Sa'ar. Now, there are also plenty of humans in the living lands, both Ords, those who are not able to manipulate possibility energy, and those who can. There are also those who have willingly or unwillingly transformed to the living lands reality and now exist in tribal clans and tribal bands within New York.
Do they follow Baruch, or are they also neutral?
Some do, some don't.
Can we identify them? Do they paint themselves red somewhere?
No such identification, and communication with them is limited at best.
They no longer speak your language?
They do, but they comprehend it differently now.
They speak your language and I'm speaking to her in the same language. Like, all right, well.
So any communication with them would be similar to communicating with a child.
That is an apt analogy, yes. But please note, that does not make them any less dangerous. Perhaps quite the opposite, since they have embraced the law of savagery as a basis of their existence. Now, from what we can put together best, because of the myriad of factions within New York, once you leave Burlington, work southeast until you get to the coast and work your way down to Ellis Island there. Avoid Times Square, avoid the Jersey Tunnel to get to Ellis Island, as last reports that we have, the Jersey Tunnel has been occupied by flesh-eating giant plants.
That doesn't sound fun.
It was not fun to learn that information.
You said avoid the Jersey Tunnel and which other place?
Times Square.
And if I'm to assume by its description that Ellis Island is an island, will we then be swimming to the island? Are we going to need to find our own conveyance over?
Because of the low technological axiom present within the living lands, we're unable to secure adequate vessel in order to get you across. At some point, you are going to have to rely on your own spontaneity and ingenuity to get across the water onto the island.
Can all of you swim?
Make a log raft.
Out of character, I don't think it's a good idea to swim in that area.
Out of character, I wouldn't either, but that's not gonna click
Yeah.
to max. Do all of you swim?
I can swim. I don't know the distance that we would have to be going.
I don't either. Do you know this distance?
Not offhand, I apologize.
If we can see it, we can swim it.
Do we need a reminder of what happened last time we tried to cross water in Isle? I think
Perhaps
it is
we should
best
try to
we
find
don't
some
swim.
kind of vessel that will work within the area that we are in.
On that note of the lock, are you aware of any water creatures that have grown to larger size? You said the land creatures, or you said creatures in general have grown to great size.
It does not preclude the waters.
Oh dear.
So we're not swimming.
No.
We're definitely not swimming.
Okay.
It's like whales went back to being four-limbed and big teeth and...
And sharks.
And sharks.
Yeah.
Shark Week.
There's a lot of sharks over there.
Megalodon.
Out of character.
Right? Megalodons.
Yes.
And not
It's
just
Megalodon week.
not just that, but the living land's climate is no longer the climate of northern New York. It is more along the lines of a jungles of the Yucatan. It is hot and humid, and
Giant mosquitoes.
she kind of said as a joke, but she's like with perhaps 3-foot wingspans.
Oh, Lord.
Ugh. I mean, you can like hang onto their feet and just,
Maybe that's how we get across.
That's how we
That's how we get
So, not just the sharks, but also the giant alligators that are there.
oh god.
It just keeps getting better.
I
Well,
don't-
hopefully the person we get is going to be a capable, not just guide, but strong awareness of the area and how to get a water conveyance and the like.
He has led many sortie into the living lands. We would not put a guide that was a rookie to be able to assist on this mission.
Is the guide the same person that's joining our team?
Negative, and that will be a different member.
It's good because I hate to let you all down because I'm not a track.
No, out of game.
I'm like, man, Greg's putting me together hard right now.
That's why I was like, wait, I feel like these are two different people.
Set me up for failure. Where'd you get this guy?
We were told that you knew this area.
Right.
Yeah.
Of all the realities that have invaded Earth, each presents its own challenges. The living lands, however, not only will the occupants kill you without remorse, but the terrain will as well. It appears as if the land itself is willing to take life as much as it is willing to grant it. Be wary of where you travel, and be ever vigilant. Are there any other questions, Storm Knights?
When you say the land will kill us, what do you mean? Like
Fleshy
the ground is going to
plants.
open up with a
Fleshy
like a mouth?
Not open up with a mouth, but because of the terrain, you may find yourself climbing a mountain and be in the midst of a mudslide, or going through a ravine and finding yourself trying to dodge a flash flood.
Okay.
The living lands there, the land is alive. It is verdant. It is powerful. It is humbling.
Does it react with some form of normal sway of things? So if flash flood at least is precluded by us hearing a rainstorm?
The perpetual wetness there and the perpetual storms that occur every day. No, it doesn't react to the laws the laws of physics and nature that we are familiar with. We're still learning what happens and occurs within the living lands.
Well, if there's nothing else that you can tell us, I think we better be on our way.
Indeed. May the Creator watch over you. And she wheels back, and
I have not heard that term, or whatever you want to call it, greeting. It's not a greeting, it's the other side, but I haven't heard that before. Would I know what that's from?
The creator. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
do you ask out of... So is this...
This is out of character for my character, because he would catch that. That's different. But I'm wondering, is she actually core Earth? Would I have heard anyone else speak that?
No, you wouldn't have heard anyone else use that terminology.
All right, so I'm in my head, I realize she's not core Earth. Out of game, I know what she is, but in game, I'm assuming she's not core Earth either.
This sounds like the Hunger Games we're going into, like where they had the
And Jumanji. It's like a
Yeah.
mixture. Jumanji and
yeah
The Hunger Jumanji?
Hunger Jumanji.
Hunger Games, Jumanji, Land of the Lost,
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, all in one.
yeah.
It's a dousing of coyote urine.
I'm seeing a T-Rex on the back of your
Oh yeah,
screen.
that's living lands.
There's your megalodon there.
I'm wondering if it's safer
Yeah.
we travel at lower lighting, so
Stay out of the tall grass.
Don't feed the velociraptors.
All right, so we're
All
done.
right. So after that, when you guys exit, you find that your pilot is waiting for you along with the escort. So you guys load up, and they tell you that go and strap in, and Burlington, Vermont should be just a quick hop, about an hour's flight to the helicopter. So you guys...
So as you're calmly saying it in my head, I was like, so go ahead and strap in. It's going to be an easy flight. We might hit a little turbulence, but...
Well, this is like pre-flight ops as you guys are kind of wandering in.
And you got headsets that probably,
Right.
so you can probably hear it.
So, yep, as it starts powering up, and again, for those that aren't used to core Earth, it's one of those like weird.
Like I said, I feel like I'm probably just got past to the point where I'm just like, this is just another thing. We've been
One
on
more
a
thing you
lot
gotta
of
deal
things.
with,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've been on a lot of things that I have know nothing about, so I'm just
it's a
going
metal
with it.
dragon this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Feel like an osprey or something?
This is just a transport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So as you head up, your Apache escort takes off in front of you, and the transport helicopter is following behind. Anybody doing anything for?
I am looking out continuously. I'm trying to get a lay of the land, the terrain. I want to look for anything that's standing out as a landmark, that kind of thing, because Out of game, I know there's going to be the Empire State Building, that kind of thing, the bridges.
So as you're coming into maybe only about 10 minutes of your flight out of Toronto, and the direction that you're going is
We're going to Vermont
southeast.
first,
Yeah,
right?
going to Vermont first, going southeast. As you start going, you actually see Niagara Falls.
Yeah, we won't see, out of character, we won't see New York on this trip.
Okay, it's not that
Yeah,
close.
no.
All right.
But when it comes to landmarks, you
But
see,
you will see Niagara
yeah,
Falls,
you
yeah.
definitely see Niagara Falls.
So I'm going to ask him, is that part of the living lands down there? Is that what happened?
like, no, that's Niagara Falls.
That didn't explain it.
It's a big waterfall.
I'm looking at you. I was like, yes, did that happen because of the living lands?
No, that's been here.
I want to ask if anybody wants to split some liquid courage, because I remember the last time we were flying in one of these death.
I have a problem.
On the Hay-Ho.
We had
yeah.
problems jumping out of this thing.
Oh, right. Yes.
Wait a minute, that's
she
a
almost died.
Are we jumping out of this?
No, not on this flight.
Not on this flight.
Why jump out of a perfectly good aircraft?
I agree!
Okay, then I will save this for later.
I'm looking for dragons.
Right.
We're near water, and we're in there.
We're all looking down and you're looking up.
Yes.
I think you're looking the wrong way.
You've never seen a dragon.
So just with like a little bit of conversation, but everyone's kind of keeping an eye out. About 30 minutes into it, looking up over the horizon, that everyone's looking, sounds like everyone is. All of a sudden, you can just see the horizon start turning dark. As you get closer, just all of a sudden, like these rolling storm clouds that start coming in fast.
Now, are we going to assume that's something new, or because we crossed that going into Isle, we realize what it is?
What you see
Okay.
is that same type of reality storm coming into Isle. But this time, it's acting different. It's not setting like it was as you were approaching. This seems to be gathering and just gathering extreme force extremely fast and coming in at you.
Last chance. Anybody want some liquid courage?
I've changed my mind, yes.
All right. Well, I can split this one up so everybody can have like a little piece of it. So it's favored fear rolls for an hour.
Fear rolls?
Yep.
Okay.
And at that, with this rolling storm, we will end this session and tune in next week to find out what happens.
All right. Thank you for joining us on another NCRP Productions podcast. We couldn't do this without you, so please like and subscribe everywhere we're found, including YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, Google, Apple, Spotify, and other great podcast sites. If you'd like to help us continue making more content, we'd love to have your support on our Patreon. And we'd like to give a special shout out to our current patrons, our Siegson Employees of the Month, Michael H., Greg K., F.S., and our Breaker of Seals, Frank H., Christopher C., Matthew K. Thank you all. We truly, truly appreciate it. And a very special thanks to our fantastic artist, Jacob Blackmon, who you can reach on his Patreon under his name, or Deviant Art under the name Prodigy Duck.